No, definitely. All
Oh,
right,
but here we
and looks
go.
like we are in.
Lusterris off to a slight lead, just with some excellent cutscene skips. No, just kidding. But should be getting these runners synced up pretty closely. Just Sledge starting about a second behind, likely due to a little bit of delay in the DSTA timing. So at the beginning of the run, probably noticed they were on the clock screen, and runners to this allows runners to set their clock a few minutes before daylight saving times hits, which in Sand Kingdom we'll see that allows them to grow seed really quickly. Kind of hard to explain without that happening, but just have to put it out there at the beginning of the run just in case.
I think that's probably the first time, at least that I've been commentating, that someone properly explained DSTA. So love to see it. I appreciate BP's knowledge. BP, what's your experience with SMO?
I have a 5957 and had world record in Darker Side for a time, so I'm decently experienced in the game, but again, haven't had much time to commentate. But looks like Sledge was able to gain some time, Lusterris having a few bonks and a little bit of a mishap with water, so very even on these frog vectors. Nice sync going on. Sledge
Yeah,
gaining even more time, very clean overall. Oh, but the wall slide.
you know, it's funny having like an experienced sub-hour runner in your commentator booth with you. You mentioned like a small little detail of I think Sledge going out of a door that I myself didn't even notice. So it's gonna be really cool, like having somebody pick up on those like small key details.
I appreciate that. I'm very keen on getting a 216 cap. I feel as though I deserve it, but I have not gotten it, so I clearly don't deserve it.
One
But
day.
that's been my goal lately, so I've just been zoning in on a lot of really tiny time saves in cap. But yeah, here we go. Lust off to a very slight lead. Honestly, they're probably about even considering the slight delay at the beginning, but pretty solid caps overall. 219, 220. Very good. Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah, looks like we have a 221 on Sledge's side. I'm not sure if Lust has or is using the plugin, so we'll at least have the stats on Sledge's end. Looks like that is 0.94 faster than his cap PB. So love to see some green.
Oh, totally. Yeah. After this, likely going to see both runners heading over to the Odyssey to the left. There is a skip called DSS. You can go behind towards the chain chomp and just climb up that massive rock wall with some really precise, borderline pixel perfect inputs, but very risky and only saves about 10 seconds, so not super worth it in a tournament setting.
Yeah, I gotta go for some of those more comfy strats, especially, you know, you and your competitor both wanting to get the first W on the board, so maybe going for some of these more riskier strats aren't quite worth it.
Yep, so instead, we get the Dino Skip, going to be bouncing off of this hidden trampoline and getting a whole bunch of height, getting all the way up to this boss fight. Very cleanly done by both runners. Interesting coin strats. I always love seeing how the runners pass the time between each of these phases, because by Wooded Kingdom, you need 100 total coins. You get 50 of those basically for free in sand. But the other coins, you kind of have to figure out how to collect optimally, and these runners both have very nice strats in this boss fight to get close to all the coins. So, very nice to see. Neither of them doing it the way I've seen it most commonly done, so cool to see the sort of diversity in the strats there.
Yeah, absolutely.
But there we go. Both of them grabbing the multi-moon. Looks like Lust actually has saved a little bit of time over Sledge in that fight as a whole. So kind of interesting. Just a whole bunch of little small time saves.
Now, do you think either of these runners are going to go try the chest clip coming up?
I don't believe Lust does chest clip. I wouldn't expect Sledge to. That's more of a trick you implement around mid 59 level. It's only saves about a half a second, so resetting runs in Cascade is never really ideal. So here we go. We see Lust heading over to atop a high cliff. And same with Sledge. Lots of cliff moons in this game, so we'll be seeing many, many more of these.
So, let's imagine I'm not a speedrunner. I'm not keen to some of these reasons they do go for these strats. Why would somebody go for chest cliff? It's a strat that saves you said what, like half a second, but it'll lose like what, 3 or 4 seconds if they don't get it. Why would somebody opt to do that?
Time save is time save, bro, okay? I feel personally attacked by this Inquisition. I personally am a chest clip enjoyer, despite having a slower PB than Lusterris. No, but for real, every little time save really, really helps, especially in this game, because there's a whole lot you can get just by having more optimal movement, but just any little thing that you're consistent at that can hedge your bets at saving a little bit more time is super useful. So, always like to see some of the harder strats gone for, but especially when they can lose a lot of time, there's a really good reason not to go for some. Chest clip is one of those that I like going for, because missing it only loses about 2 to 3 seconds, so it's a 1.5 second slower investment than going for a top high cliff, but a toss-up, as usual. But here we go, into the frozen desert, makes sense.
Both these runners going to be setting up for the DSTAC that BP was talking about earlier.
Yeah, it can be a little bit finicky to get up to that top moon there, because that carpet is notorious for input drops, as why Lust, no! Okay, that's going to be an interesting time loss later on, but we might get to see some Hayano Bird action, which could be exciting. Essentially, Lust went into the pipe before collecting that bird moon that he spawned, and that's going to lose quite a bit of time. Sledge is technically a moon up right now. Oh, Lust is just waiting. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Definitely not the ideal backup there. Not.
Yes.
Does he not know?
Hayano Bird's really hard, but it still would have been better to get the this moon after exiting this employee's room that Sledge is exiting right now. You can grab the bird atop that dune that Sledge just rolled by. Kind of hard to explain, but it's not the most common thing to know that the moons despawn after exiting such a small loading zone like that green pipe there. So Lust probably assumed that, oh, it'll still be there when I come out, but unfortunately that's not how the game works. But very nice dune moon from both runners, and making their way up to the archway.
We're setting up for Sand Ram. We saw a couple of these runners earlier today get some minor mistakes on it, but that looks pretty good on Sledge's end. Nailing it.
Yep, there we go.
We'll see the same on Lust, and nice.
And
Perfect.
looks like, are we getting single bill from Sledge? That is a very close single bill. Should work, but very far out bullet. Kind of risky. But there we go, getting it. Saves about 2 seconds over capturing a fresh bullet bill. Is it 2 seconds? I'm not entirely sure. Might have just accidentally lied there, but it's a good bit of time save over having to wait for another bullet bill to spawn. And not grabbing the safety checkpoint. Let's hope for no death. It's not the most likely thing here.
We have seen it a couple times in this tournament setting, so it's not too unlikely, but with the skill level of these Division A runners, I don't imagine it'll ever happen.
Yeah, I certainly agree, although I've been adjusting my strats a little bit lately because that checkpoint does not really take any extra time to grab, so I figure, let me just adjust my golds a bit, take a little extra warp text in Sand Kingdom, and grab that extra checkpoint. Same with Wooded, there's a nice little checkpoint you can grab there for some added security, even though you're not super likely to die.
Especially in like a tournament setting, like anything could happen. We've seen even Division A runners die without taking the checkpoint and Wooded alone. So I always recommend grabbing the checkpoint. It's safe.
Yeah, and Lusterris at a solid 111 moons. Shoutouts to Valu. Valu 111, quite the speedrunner.
Indeed.
Had some good SMO days back at the beginning and with former Darker Side world record. Very nice. And both with single throw. Very impressive. I still struggle with that trick a whole bunch. Very inconsistent. But both of them nailing it, no problem. Very nice to see.
Yeah, definitely a really cool swag strat. And with that, both runners heading out of Sand Kingdom, going to be going into Lake. It's a very, very close match. Sledge maintaining a little bit of that lead, though, which is really cool to see.
Yeah, and
That was
I'm excited. If Sledge keeps up this type of gameplay throughout the race, it could be really cool. Like, granted, it's only Sand Kingdom, but he's been showing off movement that's far above 10106 level. So I am excited to see how this plays out. But then again, so much more to go. It's a very difficult game, easy to lose a lot of time. And Sand is one of the kingdoms that mistakes are not overly punishing in most cases. So just hopefully, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and looks like Sledge with the 1027 sand split. Right now, he is a second and some change up on his PB. So cool to see.
It's really nice. But now both entering Lake. There is the option to go to Wooded first, as you do in most of the longer categories in this game, but loses about a tenth of a second, and since you're not resetting in this run, it doesn't really make much sense to go to Wooded first, unless you're trying to throw off your opponent with some mind games or something. But up next, we got a really nifty trick called Lake Flip. Going to be lining up with this corner and getting Cappy to clip through the wall. Oh, Sledge having a little bit of trouble. Needs to slide a little to the left. Oh, there we go.
Oh, all right, very nice.
Now Luster's turn. Oh, not saving much time over Sledge and getting a fake flip.
Oh,
that
no.
sucks. Okay, but there we go. That should be good. And not bathtubing. Very nice. Oh, that could be bad. Okay. Almost didn't get the wall slide in time, but thankfully able to save it. But
yeah,
very close
shaky.
on left side.
Some rage captures there we see on Lust.
Oh yeah.
And
Been seeing a lot of those on Lust and not very happy with this run so far. But plenty more to go.
yeah, definitely anything could happen. It's not over till it's over.
For sure. Yeah, just some of the most exciting parts of this run are just these incredible water sections where you just swim and get moons. I love these so much. I definitely don't lose extreme amounts of time due to having bad lines. It's super fun and enjoyable just to barely do things wrong and lose time for it. I thoroughly enjoy it. So I guess what I'm cryptically saying is that although it doesn't seem like much is going on in these small bits of the run, having tighter lines actually adds up quite a bit over the entire course of the game, and it can be quite frustrating to lose time like that, just small little bonks in the very straightforward sections that just add up over the entire run. So
definitely not hearing any sarcasm coming from PP's side of the
not
mic,
at all.
so, you know,
No.
nothing but genuineness.
Some of my least favorite parts of this game, of speedrunning this game, are just the amount of ways you can lose tiny bits of time in uninteresting sections. So that was one of my prime examples, and we have a whole kingdom of it coming up later, although it's more exciting nowadays. But I'll get to that when I get to that. Up next, we got one of the most exciting kingdoms in the game, Wooded. All right, one of my favorites. So,
I think maybe a little more sarcasm from that. Not sure. Maybe.
Oh no, I actually love Wooded. Wooded, it's by far one of my favorite kingdoms to watch and actually play. Although it's pretty reset heavy because there's a lot of tricks that can utterly destroy a run, and you can lose a lot of time with some of the strats you have to do. There's a lot of technical movement, which is a lot more enjoyable than losing time to lines. So, first off, trying to catch the bunny, and unfortunately not going far enough to the left to make it go the correct direction. So you're gonna have to do a nice spin throw, roll cancel to bop it and try to get it a little bit later. But that'll actually give Lust a decent bit to catch up, because that's actually a surprisingly costly time loss. We can see there's probably about a 6 or 7 second deficit coming into Wooded, but Lust closing that up already at the shop at the same time as Sledge. But now coming up, you're going to be heading all the way up to this tree. Oh, that was a deceptive bong. And look at that, we're about tied.
Yeah, you know, I'm not too sure what happened in Lake for Sledge. Maybe it was You know, it had to have been a late clip, but it looks like he has lost 5 seconds, but does have a about 13-second lead from at least their split. But right now, pretty much synced up. Not much of a lead.
Oh yeah. However, what I would like to point out right there, okay, that was actually something I've been wondering for a long time. Sledge and Lust did a very slightly different strat to get over to this nut clip, which both of them get. This is a really nice thing. I'll touch on that in a second. Really precise out-of-bounds movement to grab this. Did he just do the long jump?
I think
Jesus,
so.
Sledge! Holy crap! Is he gonna... Okay, way to play it safe. That was an intentional bonk, because he was very low on that and had a high probability of falling out of bounds, which is far worse than taking that bonk. And, okay, acceptable nut clips from both of them. Very nice. So, what I was saying is, Sledge and Lust did a very slightly different strat on the movement from the tree nut to the nut clip moon, and I've been thinking that it's faster for a long while, and Sledge gained a little bit of time on Lust doing that, so I have justification for my decision now, and that makes me feel quite good about myself. But here, going for the nice spin pound out of the red maze.
Yeah, I gotta say, you're getting some love in chat about your comps.
Thank you, thank you. But now we got FRS. Oh, that's a death, isn't it? And did he get the checkpoint?
I don't think
Is
he
that
did.
another?
Oh no,
my
Sledge
God.
also falling. Oh my goodness.
That is unexpected. And
I think
hey, look,
Sledge
it's
might
the shop.
have. Nope, neither of them did.
No,
Okay.
wow. I don't know what the optimal backup is for this, honestly. It looks like they're both going for the same idea in heading up to the top of the kingdom like you would in World Peace. And that makes sense, but it's just, it's such a weird detour. Oh, and Lust not getting a cat bounce. Not quite standing on this tiny ledge long enough. And this is a really interesting sync. I don't think we'll see this in like any other race.
You might be surprised.
What is going on? Dude, they're both doing, like, they could go up to... No, don't do this! Why are they both doing this? You can get to the... You can go to the top of the kingdom and get onto the spirit platform and not have to risk Flower Road Skip, and also get a checkpoint if you really wanted to. No, Sledge! No!
Oh no!
Oh my god, no! This sucks. I feel so bad. Oh. But yes, you could have slightly skipped all this movement by going up onto the Spewer platform that actually doesn't trigger the boss fight, since you haven't collected the Piranha Moon. So...
Why did he take another checkpoint?
Yeah, I know!
Oh my god!
This is really unfortunate. You hate to see this
incredibly
happen.
detrimental.
Like, I would honestly be considering, after a death like that, heading into Deep Woods. There's just no really good ways to get back into the route after this point. So, yeah, that just really stinks.
That's an interesting kind of strat. So, what would you do in Deepwood? Like, because what's your routing look like if you went to Deepwood? Because I'm interested. That sounds like an interesting backup.
Well, first of all, let's keep an eye on Lust. Having a very close encounter with the Deep Woods himself. Okay, no issues here. Very close, but thankfully not taking any falls. But what I would do, it would look exactly like the Darker Side route, and then I would have to pop up around where they had to climb up in the first place. So it would be more of a way to get 5 moons and then finish up around with the movement that Lust is doing right now. So not too different, but I just don't know how fast it would be overall, because this is just, it's not the fastest section of the game, but it just takes so long to get all the way back to our sledges right now. But there we go, Lust is out of Wooded, and Sledge still probably has about a minute left, so this is going to be about a minute gap between these two runners.
You gotta imagine that's got to be incredibly tilting for any runner, honestly, to not only take 1 but 2 deaths and then work back to pretty much the beginning of the entire level.
Oh, totally. It's one of the most frustrating mistakes to happen. That's part of the reason I started grabbing that checkpoint more often, as we mentioned earlier.
But with that, Lust is out of Wooded, and we headed into the first Bowser fight of the run, as Sledge is wrapping up his Wooded.
But right now, we've got Lust going into the Cloud Kingdom. Got a nice boss fight here, and one potential notable optimization. Well, first of all, Cloud Boost. Very nice movement. Unfortunately, not getting the extra boost from spawning the Cloud. But nonetheless, going to be entering Bowser. And the optimization that I mentioned is actually grabbing a Luigi Hint Heart in the middle of this boss fight. Not going to be doing it, and even if he had tried to, that would be a very risky time to do it, because launching Bowser 3 platforms over rather than 2, that adjusts the setup a little bit, and you'd have to have some very difficult alterations to the strat. So perhaps intentional, perhaps intentionally not going for it, knowing that Bowser is a little bit off, but either way, not going to lose too much in making the correct decision.
And speaking of not losing too much, it looks like right now Lust has a 55-second lead on Sledge, with splitting at 19:57 in Wooded, and then Sledge with a 20:52. So pretty sizable lead right now, as Lust is now heading into Lost Kingdom. Meanwhile, Sledge is in Cloud Kingdom, going to be taking on Bowser. Lost Kingdom, definitely one of those levels that are incredibly quick. Lust, with his extreme speed, definitely want to be one of those screens that you want to be paying attention to. All the moves are just in quick, rapid succession. They're all linked up incredibly well. Very nice to watch.
Yeah, Lost is another one of my favorite kingdoms in this run. I don't see how it's not a general crowd favorite, because although the movement's really precise, you get 10 moons in the span of 2 minutes. That's incredibly quick, so hard not to enjoy how just fast-paced this entire section is. So going moon to moon really quickly. Now Lust going to be doing a spin pound atop this tree, jumping up to trigger Klepto, make sure it doesn't get his hat stolen a little bit later in the run. That was what all of this movement is for, just avoiding that bird. Unfortunately, taking a slight bonk. That might make the next trick, reverse repeatal, a little bit harder, but not sure if Lust would go for that anyway. Doesn't look like it. But going to be breaking this block moon, grabbing this tree moon. Lots of tree moons in Lost, but heading over there, doing a nice Shirane bounce. The Lust special, very common strat, only really seen from Lust. Very nice. And, oh no!
Taking a death.
Oh
again,
no, really risky
awful.
kingdom. Let's see, what's the backup he's going to go for? Going for Meme Tree. There's a slightly faster way to get over to Klepto, the bird you need to trigger so you don't get your hat stolen. But not a super well-known backup, but heading back over to that Trapezo. See if we go for... Okay, just going for the Stone Cage. Respectable decision. Kind of hard to set up Cage Triple after a mistake like that.
Definitely.
Sledge going for reverse torpedo though, and the fast setup. It looks good if he's able to get this wall kick. Very nice from Sledge. Now, Lust having some trouble globing, but Sledge gonna be going for his own cage triple. Looks good. No,
almost saves it. Unfortunately,
really
both
tough
runners
run.
taking a death.
I don't know if he broke the cage either. He should be looking... Okay, Sledge is looking over to see whether he broke the cage. Unfortunately not, but this sets him up for that backup I was mentioning earlier really nicely. Just taking the movement really quickly to get it over to Klepto. Activating him, and then not opting to get Stone Cage. Technically would be the faster option in that case, but not too much difference between getting the Iron Cage here. Oh! Very close diving, but no deaths. No more deaths.
Yeah, definitely don't want to see any more deaths.
Yep.
Alright, Lust is in Night Metro. Gonna be making his way over to City Hall.
Yeah, especially don't want to see any deaths in this kingdom. Not very sparse on the checkpoints that you can grab without time loss. So, gotta be extra careful, and especially in City Hall, taking any sort of fall is going to be very detrimental. So, don't want to see any huge mistakes here in the slightest. Not too common, thankfully, but you never know.
Oh yeah, it's Super Mario Odyssey. Anything could happen.
Playing it a little bit safer there, getting a little bit of a weird dive angle, having to adjust the way he rolled. That's just how he rolls.
Alright, both runners now in Night Metro. Lust is reaching the pinnacle of City Hall. Gonna be heading into the Mecha Wiggler right here shortly.
Yeah, setting up for the scary looking long jump, but in general, pretty consistent, except when you wait that long to throw. Okay.
Oh, I tell you, some of these runners today.
Okay, so that looked scary to me because that is not the setup that I normally go for. It was very far to the right when he long jumped off of the far to the left when he long jumped off the platform. It's likely consistent for him, but it is just not what I'm accustomed to seeing, so I got quite scared. But either way, I'm very glad he didn't take a fall there. That could have lost up to a minute. But now we got Sledge going for Goomba Heck.
Yeah, heck those Goombas.
Damn, very nice movement. Adding some extra very small time saves with the motion control cap throws. Doing a motion control cap throw into pressing Z for a dive is actually 1 frame faster than just pressing Y to throw cappy. So getting a little bit of small time save just by doing that. Ultimately, it's pretty negligible considering you have other movement that you can save a lot more time on, but always nice to see some of those tinier optimizations come out from these runners. As I mentioned, Sledge, a BTT guy, so knows all about the ways to save small bits of time.
Alright, you're in the Mecha Wiggler fight. Well, I should say Lush is leaving and Sledge is entering.
Yeah, one of my least favorite boss fights in the game. Very RNG dependent, and you have the potential to lose a lot of time, is the boss most encountered here. If you are a little bit too slow on the second phase, you will have to go through an entire third phase of this fight and lose approximately 25 to 33 seconds.
Yeah, definitely.
I say 33 because I have lost 33 seconds here. I don't actually know the maximum you could lose. It's likely a lot more, but one of my first 59 pace runs died to this. No. I finished it out with a 10020, and then I turned to say 33. So I was not too happy with that.
Pretty sure it's safe to say most of the SMO community can agree that Wiggler is the worst.
Speaking of the worst, this is not a very good state for Sledge. Thankfully making it
work. My goodness.
Very nice save. On the other side of the screen, Lust taking a bit of a pause before warping over to this pylon. Just need a little bit of a break before grabbing that move. This is a pretty intense game. There's not much downtime, so gotta respect it a little bit.
Instant scoop clip too, not taking a single lap.
Now angling his camera so Cappy can home into this pylon after grabbing this pretty trash moon. Not well designed in my opinion. Kind of garbage. But a much less garbage moon right here. Much more wholesome. If you ever see somebody looking down on the side of the road, stranger in New York City, okay, let's not generalize this too much. If you ever see one of your friends looking down, please be sure to stop by. Make sure they're okay. Just wholesome messages all around. Mario getting a move for it. You never know what could happen. Oh, of course.
Yeah, never want to do anything nice for free.
Okay, let's not. no cynical therapy here. Anyway. Moving on, Lusterris is now going to gamble. Lots of pretty conflicting themes here in the Metro Kingdom, as you would see in a big city. Thankfully, Mario is pretty good at gambling overall. Generally tends to win. I don't know why they say the house always wins.
I don't know if it's gambling or just straight up cheating at that point using Cappy.
Yeah, it could be. I don't. It's a little bit scary. Hopefully no legal repercussions for Mario later on in the future, but hasn't been any so far.
Maybe the next speeding strike game.
Maybe. And continuing on this theme of very interesting city situations. We've got bullet building. Got to capture this bullet very quickly, making the cycle pristinely as Lusterris, and working his way through the building. Even getting the bullet not to die, which saves about a half a second. So very nice small
really
optimization there.
Meanwhile, on Sledgeton, also opting to gamble a little bit. Ah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Got Sledge going to be heading into the bullet bill room as well.
I momentarily forgot that you're able to cap bounce after a triple jump and was very scared that Lusterris got that cap return jump. I've only played this game for thousands of hours, and yet I forgot that that was a game's prominent feature.
It's okay, this game is scary sometimes.
Sledge also getting quite a nice bullet building. And Lust taking a few more captures. Needs to save some of this great view. Just flying down from the top of the building. That doesn't bullseye. Yeah. A little too far to the left and down. Having some trouble finding the spot, too. Yeah.
I could not land it. Third time is the charm.
As that is going to work? How did that? Okay. That was very risky from Sledge, but making it work nonetheless. Delaying his dive onto the dumpster area. Lots of trash-themed moons in Metro Kingdom. Not entirely sure what they're trying to say, but the Power Moon value in Metro is pretty high. You see, you get 20 instead of the normal, I don't know, 16 or so at max. In the other kingdoms, I guess Luncheon you get 18, so just has a little bit less value in Metro, so they can afford to just throw them out sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, you see over there on Sledges, and you just have coin stacks on a ledge, so they clearly are a wealthy kingdom.
For sure, for sure. Just all these people on the rooftop cafe enjoying themselves as Mario has to save Princess Peach from a gigantic turtle.
See, you say save Princess Peach, but I gotta say, I don't think Peach is trying to get away from Bowser too much.
You know, this is Mario. We can't go too deep into questioning the actions of our protagonist plumber here. Not much in this game makes much sense. For instance, we have 8 feet tall human beings according to the canonical 5-foot height of Mario. So let's just not question that too much.
Getting into the deep lore of Mario Odyssey during the tournament. Love to see it.
Indeed. And on the less deep side, we've got Lust going into Snow Kingdom, going to be getting a little bit chilly, getting to Chiveri as quickly as possible to avoid this frigid environment. Oh, imagine swimming in this temperature. Utterly frigid. It must be like living in Canada. But talking to Toad, demolishing all of his snow barrier. No more warmth for Toad. Unfortunate. Hopefully we are able to see him later on in the run, but not looking promising considering the condition we've left him in there.
Yeah. Toad, finesse knowing you, but I think that's the end of you. Heading into the happiest place on Earth that's not Disney World with these cute little walrus people. Love the music in Shiveria. It's a big jam.
Totally. Let's see. Look, I want to pay attention to Lust's side because we do have a nice moon flip coming up, but I also need to check whether or not Sledge leaves more warmth for Toad. See, that's a little bit more generous.
It does.
Instead of all the snow gone, there's only a little portion of it. So, hats off to Sledge. But now we got Lust going for snow clip. That is a little too far away from the wall, I would say. So unfortunately, no clip. But it doesn't lose too much time. That does. That is a rather cumbersome bonk because the backup movement's a little bit odd, but not losing too much time overall.
Yeah, bonks definitely do add up. You know, losing about a second and a half to maybe 2 seconds sometimes. Bonks definitely add up over the course of the run.
Oh, for sure. When a stationary bonk where you essentially just bonk and then can immediately proceed into movement, that in and of itself loses 2 seconds. So if you're falling from a tall place and you get a bonk, then that can lose honestly up to 5 depending on where it is, but most of the time, 2 to 3 is a good estimate. Sledge getting snow clipped, so going to be saving a little bit of time over Lust, assuming he doesn't take a death. Very nice, out of bounds. Now, heading into the Goomba room is Lusterris, matching his profile picture. Always nice to see. With a solid command of... Okay, that is something I've never seen. Has to take a death to respawn his brethren, the Goombas.
I think he thought he fell off one of those jumps and then just committed.
Yeah, gonna have to be seeking some apologies from his brethren. I don't think his family is gonna be too happy about that one, but
absolutely not.
Either way, getting a second chance and barely missing the stack. That was their revenge. Instead of working with him, okay. I should preface this. There's a slight chance that when you are slightly off on your placement for that Goomba stack, that they will walk onto the pressure plate. Minecraft, okay, anyway. They will walk onto the plate and still spawn the moon, but unfortunately not working with him, instead working with Sledge, exacting their revenge, preventing a death from from our competitor Sledge. Jeez, man. They're giving Sledge a chance. We're not at all happy with Lust's behavior, so we'll see how they exact this further. I can think of one area in Luncheon Kingdom where they can get in the way, so let's see what happens.
Alright, both these runners wrapping up snow. Gonna be heading up to Dram. We saw Sledge before this race. Looked like they were practicing the snow dam, so we'll see if the practice pays off.
Oh, Lust going for setup list.
Let's go.
And this is not looking good.
Oh my god, taking the bonk.
It was really close, and that was a really good homing capture to try to save it, but the vault was just a little bit too far away from the edge. And now Sledge is only about 10 seconds behind Lusterris. Now about even, probably.
Lusterris not able to make connection with the Odyssey, setting up with the camera this time. Same with Sledge.
This is not a great setup for Sledge. Okay, making it nonetheless, and look how close this is. They are within 3 seconds. The moon cutscene is 3 seconds long, and Sledge in the same moon cutscene as Lusterris. Here we go. We have a race on our hands, everybody.
Yeah, love to see it. Sledge keeping his pace with Lusterris. Sledge confirming in chat that they indeed had 2 heart attacks in this kingdom. Might need to get the paramedics out there, check on Sledge, make sure he's okay.
Yeah, I'll call up my buddy, the cardiologist. Send him over to Sledge's house.
Feels good, man.
Right, but now, heading into the relaxing, not at all boring, annoying as hell Seaside Kingdom. My least favorite kingdom in the game. I promise I have a reason.
Buddy.
I would rate this kingdom below Ruined and Cloud on a tier list. I am not even exaggerating. It is just awfully placed. It is boring. You do not have platforming to get the main story progression. The boss is incredible. Brigadier Mollusk Lancer III, Dolphin of Bedlane, exceptional boss. Cannot trash on that boss at all, except for the RNG aspect towards the end. That is terrible, and you can lose 20 seconds if you get a bad seed, I guess. I have no idea what even causes it, but even the one good part about this kingdom is completely tainted by that 20-second RNG time loss. But either way, these runners have to deal with this for a solid 3 minutes. Just making their way around the kingdom, grabbing 10 moons as quickly as possible. Hopefully they can get out of here quickly. Lust, unfortunately, forfeiting his lead a little bit, is taking a little bit of a dive, grabbing this Ride the Jetstream moon. Maybe should have grabbed a Gushing, as the game suggests, but pretty out of the way. Are we going to see any fish and dips?
Gotta imagine both of these runners at least attempt to fish and dips. But maybe Sledge, if he's watching, knows he's in the lead, might not even attempt it. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
He's gonna go for it.
Yeah, it's... Strav, Seaside Connoisseur Stravos96, also part of this tournament, says that it's approximately the same difficulty as Nut Clip. I have not figured out the timing, but I could see it because it is a very time-based clip to get out of bounds, and the out-of-bounds movement is similarly precise. However, it takes time to get something like that down, and these runners likely haven't had that much time to practice it.
Yeah,
Lupus, I don't know what the name is. I just chose what I heard earlier on the stream to stay consistent. So I need to, I need to consider the other naming conventions first, because I was going with chess clip. I was also going to begin calling lake clip chess clip, as it is also a chess clip, and then I was going to continue calling the cascade chess clip chess clip. So I personally am a fan of chess clip. I think all tricks should be named chess clip, but I can see why that would be a little bit confusing. For example, right now we're going down into the Sphinx's area, and we are going to be getting a chess moon. So here we have our 4th chess clip of the run.
Every trick is chess clip, and then we just add dram after or before that, so it's dram chess clip entire
perhaps.
game.
But Lust retaking the lead in that Seaside Kingdom. Sledge having a little bit of a bad bout with some kombu. Again, Seaside just king of having small time saves that are really frustrating. Taking damage and losing about a second to the damage animations and 2 seconds to the damage refill that you get collecting a moon. Very, very annoying. So glad we're out of there. And now we're into the much more punishing but much more enjoyable Luncheon Kingdom. So very risky kingdom, lots of ways to optimize in risky ways, the most obvious being Spiritless. Very, very difficult route that saves around, is it 9 seconds, 7 seconds? Not entirely sure, but saves a significant bit of time that completely skips the Spirit boss fight and gets a lot of extra moons away from the story progression. I don't believe we'll be seeing that from either of them here.
Yeah. Doesn't look like, at least looking at the stats, it doesn't look like either of them have gone for it, at least in the tournament. I don't imagine any of these runners really attempting it.
Yeah, understandable. It's a very difficult strat.
Oh, for sure. Definitely really cool to see. Very high octane, but it's definitely high risk, high reward. I wouldn't even say high reward. It's 8, 9 seconds.
I would consider that very high reward. Hey, you gotta consider the swag points too, okay? Like, there's plenty of reward for this, okay?
Swag absolutely saves time.
I am a spiritless enjoyer myself, so even in tournament where it is likely not worth it for the major inconsistencies and potential time loss, I will be going for it because spiritless is just the way to go, man. So.
Yeah, I definitely love watching runners go for Spiritless. So seeing Spiritless done by the last race, it was incredible.
Oh, of course. Jambo is quite the legend. Very consistent runner, getting his second 59 of the tournament. Very impressive stuff.
Oh yeah, it's super huge.
But here we go. Going to be entering one of the most iconic sub-areas, at least to me, in the game. This is the only sub-area where the second moon is so slow that in any percent, dark side, darker side, and I don't think it's in world peace, but in those 3 categories where you need very quick moons and you are already going into that sub-area for 1 moon, the second moon is so unbelievably slow that you just don't get it. It's ludicrous. Even in any percent spiritless, where you need to get relatively slow moons to make up for the ones that you miss for skipping the story progression, it is too slow to make the cut. So, hats off to the Shards Moon in the Magma Swamp. You are very slow.
Yeah, sensing a lot of hate for the second moon in that sub-area.
Oh, actually, I love that second moon. It's just slow. Actually, one of the more cool moons in the game, I would say, but just unfortunately too slow to be seen in anything other than AM and Hundo.
Yeah, I'm not even sure if I've actually ever seen that moon. I don't even know if I got it casually, let alone in a speedrun, so I don't know.
There's some really... Oh, wait, okay, I gotta give some love to this moon now. It is in 2-player any percent. There is some really quick movement you can do with Cappy to collect a bunch of shards really quickly that you can't do in 1-player, because obviously Cappy doesn't move on its own in 1-player. You need to control it the entire time, so... Kid barely hit the cutoff in 2-player, and was there potential at one point for 1-player? I'm not entirely sure, but not very RTA viable at least.
Shout out to most 2-player strats, they look so cool.
Indeed.
The 4DSS that was recently found that skips Dark Side, so cool.
Oh, for sure. That is quite the skid. Yeah, hats off to Circle and Tetra.
Alright, we were in Fork sub-area. Really cool sub-area, a lot of fun.
Okay. I was
Weird
a little
side
concerned
there from Sedge.
I always get a little bit concerned when any movement happens without Cappy in this game, because you can be so accustomed to doing movement with Cappy and assuming, oh, I can press Y in the direction I'm holding and then just immediately dive in that direction. But of course, Sledge there didn't have access to Cappy, so if he tried to do a Y press then dive, he would have just fallen completely off forks. So glad he didn't do that, because that would have made this much more difficult for him to bring back. But even so, having a lot of trouble with this next portion of the run, losing a lot of time over Lusterris luncheon.
Yeah, not only is it just a death, but he's at the very top of the tower, so he has to take, about 2-3 seconds to fall to his death. So
Oh
huge
yeah, and then
time off
redo the
that.
entire sub area.
Yep.
And get the moon again. It's very bad death to take.
And unfortunately, we have seen a couple of runners do that in this tournament, so definitely not something that's not possible.
What was that?
Oh, wait, what?
That is an example of a really stupid 2-second time loss, because that was the exact same speed, well not quite, but approximately the same speed as just capturing that lava bubble normally, because you just did a spin throw and caught it, albeit at the peak of its height rather than at the bottom, so you have to wait for it to fall a little bit. But then you have a 2-second damage refill cutscene that's just very dumb to look at, because you're not really losing any time for taking damage, yet you still are punished for it significantly. Oh, but that's good. Sledge having a nicer time at the end of this luncheon, at least. Having some very clean movement to get up to the meat. Very nicely done, and this will put us into another really, really intense part of the run. Hold on to your hats, everyone. We're gonna fight a dragon.
Absolutely. We go into Ruined Kingdom to fight Spyro. I think during that time, since it's pretty much an auto-scroller, we'll take a minute to talk about our sponsor, being the Urban Arts Partnership. The Urban Arts Partnership Game Design Program is a multi-year college prep program teaching students both the arts and technology of game development, prepping them for degrees and careers in the tech and gaming industries. Your donations will go directly to the teachers and the tools needed to continue inspiring underprivileged students. They are also a 100% non-profit organization, so huge shout out to them. All your donations and support for the UAP will go directly to the program itself. They also help a lot of the more underprivileged youth in getting them into schools and these degrees. So big shout out to them, !UAP in chat to take care of that. Also, !Racers in chat to check out both of these runners' Twitches. And we got Sledge and Lusterris, both amazing competitors, all deserving of your love and support. You can also do !Comms in chat. BP, do you stream?
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Awesome. So !Comms
I've been
chat.
doing a lot of any percent lately, but in the near future, I'm planning to do more all moons, so that should be exciting. But we'll see what happens.
Hype, something to look forward to. All moons are definitely super fun runs to watch. I look forward to Fur_ doing his Monday all moon run. So those are really fun. And of course, lastly, !Restreamer in chat to check out Saren Mew on Twitch as well, who has been recently grinding for a world record in a really cool game. They say it's a meme. I believe they can do it. We'll see what happens. And with that, we are in.
Huge shout outs to Sarah. We cannot understate this. Thank you for all the organizational work you do. So yes, huge props. And also to our stat sheet runners. Thank you so much for keeping the stat sheet in order. Very nice to see all of the statistics on getting tricks, consistency, etc., etc. So thank you for moderating that. Lots goes into this production, and really appreciate it.
Oh yeah, huge love goes out to Matt for all these stats. If you guys haven't checked out the stat sheets, y'all need to. It's so in depth and super comprehensive. So super cool.
Yeah, but that'll about do it for Ruin, at least for Lusterris. Going to be pulling out these swords from the dragon, no idea where they come from, just kind of spawn on top of his head, and then boom, look, we ground pound his face that he smashes into the ground. Don't know whether that or Mario actually sitting on his face does more damage, undetermined. But either way, gonna deal enough in 3 hits to just put him out of his misery, just super tired, gonna relax there for the rest of the game, and there it is. End of Ruin for both of these runners.
You know, you gotta wonder, where does Bowser find a big old purple dragon?
That's a good question. It must have been in the air somewhere. I feel like if I encountered a dragon as a turtle, I would probably get eaten. So hats off to Bowser for not letting that happen, I guess. Don't know how he appeased the Lord of Lightning, but, you know, who knows? Like, Bowser has his ways.
Yeah, maybe somebody can find the canonical lore for that, and we can talk more lore.
Mario Games 44 in chat, welcome. I believe this is somebody I know, but I will not leak the alt. Perhaps. We'll see. Anyway, moving on, going into bunnies. Very technical part of the run yet again. Not one of my favorite splits, however, lots of really cool movement to do. Very straightforward linear part of the game, which is not very characteristic relative to what we've seen so far, except for maybe Cap Kingdom. Essentially, you have to complete the story in this kingdom. So you need to get the 6 story progression moons, and then only 2 other ones are required. You know, there's not much more than just going straight forward between objectives in this. And we see Lusterris immediately making a rather unorthodox decision among top runners to get the Bird Dram moon.
Yeah.
Always love to see it, but slightly slower than the traditional backup of the Krates moon later on in the kingdom that we will not even be seeing Sledge yet because he is also going for Bird Dram. You never see people go for Bird Dram nowadays, but we got the two remaining people who are committed to the strat doing it. So love to see it. Going to be losing about a second or two.
Unable to make that that Dram land, having to take the bird spawn up.
Yes, unfortunate, but that doesn't even lose that much time overall.
No.
So not the worst. I will say that there's actually been a really interesting discovery by okay, I can't get it up in time. I'll have to wait for another time. I made an April Fool's joke where I made a claim that Bird Dram was faster than the alternative, and I got several people with a Rickroll. It was quite nice. Unfortunately, I didn't have the means to pull this up quickly enough to post it in chat, so you'll have to just imagine the Rickroll, everyone. I'm sorry. But
let's take a moment to point out Lusterris has turned on their webcam, so we have 2 webcam runners. Big shout out to them.
Let's go. Wait, what happened? Where did you miss a shard? What?
Right there. I think it's the one on the other side, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, hey, look.
Oh no, right there, the very first one he missed.
How the heck? That's so weird. Okay, well, look, we've got a really close race now. Sledge collecting his last shard and significantly closer to the moon. I think Sledge is actually slightly ahead.
Oh my goodness!
Okay,
oh my
definitely
God,
ahead now.
Oh no! Death! Oh no!
That is one you do not see every day. That is a really unfortunate shard section. I don't even know how that happened. And he didn't get the checkpoint either, so he respawns all the way back at the Ogre.
No! Oh no, Lusterris,
Wow.
you see some frustration in his face. Clearly upset with his performance there. That is... Oh, you hate to see it. Definitely great for Sledge, but you hate to see
that
it.
is horrible. I mean, even just in a race, it was going to be really close. And then, it's still potential. There's a lot of stuff in this late game, as Troy mentioned last run. Once you get past even the rest of the bunnies, you still have the potential to die in either of these fights. They're not a very common mistake, but definitely one that can happen. But overall, once you exit this portion of the game, you have a lot of large potential time losses. In Moon Kingdom, moon skip death, not very common, but can lose about a minute if you fail it. Pillar's Invisible Wall, if you cannot recover that appropriately, 2-minute time loss. Dying in 2D skip, 4-minute time loss. All these mistakes are not the most common, but very, very risky part of the run, and not to be taken lightly by any means. So, Lusterris is pretty far behind, but you never know what could happen.
Yeah, definitely. And both these runners opted to do Harry at first. BP, I gotta ask, who do you go for first?
Well, I will say my opinions have been slightly changing with the discovery of Sarbamba and my learning of the stream, because you want to do the boss that you are more likely to take damage on first. In all cases, this is Topper. Until Sarbamba, I have been taking damage somewhat frequently on Harriet now. But the reason you want to do the one you take damage on first is because there's a checkpoint between the bosses you can grab, and that will eliminate a health refill. Before grabbing the moon. So I still think that Topper is the way to go first, just from a logical perspective. However, there is definitely an argument to be made now for Harriet first.
I didn't expect the well thought out logical approach. When I ask this, I normally get like, yeah, I go Harriet first because reasons. I don't know what to say. That was a very logical, and that makes sense actually. I didn't even know about the didn't even consider that.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, that was somewhat of a meme because the checkpoint isn't even confirmed to save time over the health refill. No, Lust! It would have saved time there! No! This is why you do Topper first. Okay, not really, that would have made a difference there. But you don't have to redo any boss fights when you die, so unfortunately Lust taking a death and laughing it off a little bit in the webcam, but that's really unfortunate. Gonna have to redo that fight.
Yeah, you really had to see that. This is looking. I mean, there's a lot of the run still left, and there's entire, there's Mech and there's Moon, but this is looking like Sledge's first victory in this tournament.
Yeah, it's definitely looking that way. We'll see if Lust can pull out a really clean ending, and like I said, you don't want to see it, but there's plenty of time to lose in this portion of the game. Coming up, we got Mech right off the bat.
I honestly don't care how good you are in this game. Mech will always be a challenge. It's not an easy fight.
See, there's the checkpoint. Lust grabbing it before grabbing the moon to undo the health refill. Thank you, Lusterris. You're making my point pretty clear. I really appreciate it. That's why you do Topper first. Anyway.
Alright, awesome. We're learning things right now. Slap that education tag on the stream.
Indeed. But now Sledge working his way through target acquired. A little bit of a scary setup. Not one that I'm accustomed to seeing, but making it work nonetheless. And Lust taking a bomb. Yeah, it's kind of, once you're kind of at the point of what feels like no return in a race, at least for me, it's very hard to motivate myself to finish off strong. Kind of going for some meme movement there, a little bit faster to get a spin pound vault off Cappy there, potentially going for that, but it's just really hard to keep it together.
Yeah, maybe some tournament nerves coming into this, but also you gotta imagine his performance is quite tilting.
Yeah, definitely, and of course, Lust has not been, I don't know if he's been practicing offline, but haven't seen him stream much, so it's hard to be disappointed in a race that you're not particularly well prepared for. Obviously, don't know what his prep was, but it's always hard coming into one of these things after not having even streamed before, because it's just such a different environment, doing runs offline versus doing it in front of an audience, so.
Absolutely. And then, so just for reference, because I didn't check till now, going back to the bunny splits, Sledge is a minute 34 ahead just from the bunny split alone. Definitely going to be a more wider lead.
Probably about 150 after this, assuming Lust finishes up Mech well.
Looking like it.
But now, Sledge heading into one of my... let's focus on target acquired first. This is pretty important for Lust. If he hits this, there's still a chance that he is able to make up the... That is not a way you hit target acquired, but it does also not make you fall off of Mech, so you should be able to recover this. It's kind of hard because you need to hit Spirit, but there we go, okay. It should still be in the realm of possibility to make this up if Sledge has an invisible. That was the reason I wanted to comment on it. You do not want to see an invisible wall. I've had it happen to me and lose a race because of it. It is not fun, but keeping that in the cards, I feel, as a competitor, makes me feel a little bit better.
Definitely.
Finishing out a run like this.
I mean, we saw Invisible Wall just last run, so it can
definitely happen. from Bugfish. That sucked.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it wasn't going to change the Fortunately, it wasn't going to change the outcome of that match, but still, you can always having the glimmer of hope is it can be better because you can pull out a good moon split. I've been on pace to gold moon many times at the end of runs, and I've choked all of them, which is rather annoying. But it just helps to have a reason to continue rather than feeling like, oh, there's not really much that could happen to allow me to win this race. But Sledge going for one wall jump moon skip. Very nicely done.
Yes.
And taking it safe, getting up to the red carpet here now. Taking the walk up the red carpet to head over to the Bowser fight. Yeah, but part of what I was saying about Moon, it's definitely a really unique and good ending to this run because it's a culmination of the entire story and has some really unique movement in the escape sequence and the gravity. But it's kind of awkward to practice because when you do Moon, you're kind of just practicing Moon. There's not much application outside of Moon Kingdom for all the techniques you use. So, not my favorite kingdom overall just because of that, but definitely a really nice end of the run.
Alright, looking back at the stats, it looked like BP, you're pretty much right. Looks like it's a 1 minute 47-second lead for Sledge right now.
Yeah, so still barely within the realm of possibility for an invisible wall to skew this race. It will definitely make it very close, but I do not want to see that roll. I hate that feeling. But lost, gotta keep it going. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I gotta really root for Sledge here, being the underdog.
But yes, now dodging this very well hitbox fire. Not showing off how poor the hitboxes are, but you can essentially roll boost over the flames there. So,
no! Did you just?
That happens sometimes.
Did you just
the more common way,
not gonna jump?
Not get the vector. The more common way that happens is when you get a Cappy return jump on that launch. It's you get less height going over there, and it can be a little bit awkward to make up. But unfortunately, just not getting the vector he's accustomed to there, and underestimating the distance required to get over to the final platform, and that's about going to do it for Sledge. We're going to need to see a heck of a lot to bring this back for a loss, which is unfortunate. But
yeah, absolutely. But Sledge is in the final gauntlet. Yeah, gonna go into the final gauntlet. Don't imagine we'll see any kind of 2DSS, but would be kind of cool to see. But I doubt it.
Yeah, 2DSS escapes me. I have no idea how you even do like the first trick.
Oh, I couldn't. Yeah, no idea.
I was okay. Lust showing off some very nice swag with the one wall jump moon skip. Very nice.
Yeah, and
definitely.
We did...
even with this much of a deficit, don't take your eyes off Luster's screen. He's showing off some pretty neat stuff.
Oh yeah, definitely. Alright, and we have Sledge just getting ready to enter into the Pillars room. Get whatever kind of jam you want, so long as it's not cat jam in chat. Let's show Sledge some love. The underdog of this race, pulling out the W.
Yeah, potential for a sub 103 with sub 104 with a good Pillars here, so let's see if we can root him on for that. This could have been like a 101 for Sledge if he just hadn't had that massive wooded conundrum.
Yeah.
Pretty good, close to the PB. Very nice first two Pillars. God, I hate Pillars. Okay, but cleaning these up nicely. It's been there's been a joking contention among Sledge and myself about who is better at Pillars, and unfortunately, it is definitely Sledge, as he's showing with this quite remarkable, I believe, 55, 56 Pillars. I say that it's remarkable. That's more for me. I generally get like a minute. I am not the most adept at this split. So, very nice conclusion for the run for Sledge, with a 103, 58, 57, somewhere around there. But very well done. GG's to Sledge.
Yeah, GG.
Well-earned victory.
Very, very happy to see the underdog surpass the master. Very well played. Alright, we turn our attention over to Lusterris, who's on the final gauntlet. Gonna be capturing Bowser. Gonna be heading off to the pillar room. Maybe see an attempt of 2DSS. That'd be really cool to see.
Yeah, I believe Sledge attempted it, but it's just such a difficult trick that if we see, I think Strav or I don't know. I would put Strav as the most likely to get it in this tournament, but that's just.
Actually, looking at the stats, Lust has gone for it, and he got it the first time he got it. Or well, I wouldn't
Lust
say the
has
first time. He
gotten
definitely got it. Yeah, at least in this tournament.
That's ridiculous. Okay, okay, you know what? Sure, why not?
Opting not to even go for it. Fair.
Yeah, fair enough. Maybe he's on. No, he's not on Moon Gold pace. I don't know. I'm very confused. I'm more astounded that he's actually gotten it according to the stat sheet. That's ridiculous. But despite, I guess, going for 2DSS, having one of the cleanest 2D sections I've seen in a while, very nice. Getting both of the around the corner jumps, 2D skip and 2D, the second 2D skip. I don't know. Real XD skip, called many names, but very clean overall. Let's see if we can finish this out with the really nice pillars.
All right. Second verse, just like the first, get your jams in chat, just so long as it's not cat jam. Let's go. Show some support for Lusterris, who put on an amazing performance. Having some issues making the connection over there on that pillar.
Yeah, this is the part that always bugs me. I feel the pain here because holding forward is very difficult. I don't understand why, but just getting the fireballs to connect to that last pillar is always very difficult. But making it work, gonna be finishing out this race. Well done. Easy to get tilted on runs like these, so yeah. Huge props to finishing this one up.
Yeah,
and that'll do it. GG's to Sledge.
Finishing it with a 106.40. 106.39 it says on the splits, and then Sledge with a 103.56. Amazing performance from both of these runners. Some unfortunate upsets between, Lusterris and Sledge, but hey, they came out, they performed, and Sledge was able to get his first W of the tournament. You'll love to see it. And with that, we'll see if the runners want to pop on in for a quick little chat. Looks like we do have Sledge in the waiting zone. We'll see if Les wants to pop in with us. Looks like we do have Sledge on deck. We'll see if Lusterris wants to do anything.
Just waiting for a response from these runners.
Yeah, looks like we won't have Lusterris because of some family obligations, but that is perfectly a-okay. We'll take a minute to talk to Sledge here in just a moment, see how he's feeling. And there he is, Sledge. GG, what a fantastic performance. Congratulations on your first victory of the tournament. How are you feeling?
Pretty good about it. I didn't expect my first win to, that I'd get a 103.56.
Yeah, definitely a very good performance. BP was mentioning that I believe there was a mix-up in Wooded that you would have got a closer PB to your closer time to your PB, which would have been really exciting.
Yeah, let me check back into Wooded in a sec. Let me just.
Yeah, I was going to mention it looked like your run was decently solid through sand, and then just with Lake there was just a little bit of a lake clip kerfuffle, but then Wooded, you both kind of had the exact same mistake going for Flower Road skip, and I was very confused by that, and then you unfortunately had the extra death in the recovery from FRS. But I was curious how much time you lost there and still ended up with a 103.
Yeah, I just find it funny. I died twice from dead end to dead end to crumbling, and neither of them were because of FRS.
I know, yeah. You think it's FRS, but nope. The silly things in between that you don't practice as much, I guess.
I didn't care about the second death until I found out that Lust also died there.
Understandable. Yeah, I was thinking you could, since you don't have the Piranha Moon, you could go up to like the Spirit Arena and then do some movement up there and maybe get to the Crumbling Nut a little bit quicker, but obviously a very niche backup. I was just like, hey, that could be cool.
I find it funny how we kind of delay the schedule there, because didn't the match supposed to be happening right now?
Yeah, we had some mix-ups in the beginning match, so.
I mean, we start 10 minutes late usually, anyways. So.
Yeah.
Wait, why am I 0-2? I'm not 0-2. I got a win over Cade.
All right, I need to check what it now.
But Sledge, is there anything you want to add?
After I check my WID, 7:30. Okay, 7:27. Oh my God. Never mind.
When you say it out loud unknowingly.
Okay, I expect it to be like luncheon, but it's WIDed. I got a 7:27 split.
All right. BP, anything else to add?
No, that's gonna about do it for me. But GG's to both of you. Kind of an unfortunate ending for loss, but what can you do? Bowser's is a really tough kingdom. Easy to lose a lot of time.
Yeah.
So.
Absolutely. Such is the nature of Super Mario Odyssey. Well, Sledge, again, huge congratulations for getting your first W in the tournament. Everyone be sure to do !racers in chat to give both Sledge and Lush a follow. And then, of course, be sure to follow BP on Twitch as well. And that's going to be
the potato?
Yes.
Oh, one last thing to say. To say. Okay, so if Ganon wins his match against Robin, and I also win my match against Robin, then I'm guaranteed out.
Oh, true. That's actually very accurate. So keep an eye on Trobin versus Sledge. Very close PB match, 101.01 to 101.06, and both of them can for sure beat their PBs. So definitely stay tuned for that. Group H having a lot of intense action in here. Yeah,
definitely going to be a big group to keep an eye on. Pretty much every group in this Division A is honestly just a huge group to keep an eye on. So going to be a lot of fun, heated matches coming up.
For sure.
And what's the next? Yeah, what's the next match? G-Man versus...
Next match is SMO David TM versus G-Man. So it is a Group G.
Oh.
That's going to be coming up in just a couple minutes. It's definitely going to be an interesting match for sure, yeah. All right, with that, we'll go ahead and call things there, but don't go away. Like we mentioned, we do have one more match for the evening, so don't go anywhere.